Nothing, and I repeat, nothing is more painful than having that voice in your head that is constantly critiquing every single thing that you're doing, the way that you walk, the way that you talk, the things you do, your craft, everything, literally your entire existence. It's there, it's breathing down your neck, and it's criticizing everything that you're doing. It's like the worst thing, and that is honestly my biggest that is my biggest enemy, that is my biggest hater. For me personally, there's no bigger hater than my critic. And honestly, having an inner critic, I think it's like 60% bad and 40% good, because I feel like it can be good genuinely just for critiquing. I think it's fine, that's fine. But I think 60% of the time, this is just based on my own, this is not like actual stats, but 60% of the time it's not good, because you're constantly going to just want to be perfect. You're going to want everything that you have to do, it must be perfect. Like, there cannot be a single mistake. I'm not allowed to make a single mistake, which is literally completely unfair, and it doesn't even make any sense because we're literally imperfect ourselves. So the pressure that we put on is literally unrealistic, and it's just doesn't make any sense. But it's the unfortunate reality. I'm a perfectionist myself, and sometimes I just try not to be in certain instances and stuff like that, and it's just like a work in progress. Like, perfectionism is genuinely one of those things where it's very, very hard to overcome once it's something that's instilled in you. If you want to overcome your inner critic, you can't just be like, okay, I have an inner critic, and just go on with your life. No, that's not good, guys. This ring. No, it doesn't just end there. You need to realize that having an inner critic, it comes from somewhere. There's somewhere where it stems from, but some of us may not even know where that comes from, because it's like, it's just this voice inside my head that is always just like breathing down my neck. In the first chapter, we're going to be talking about all the root causes. Where does it actually come from? Because it can manifest into so many bad ways. And like, obviously, the strategies and what to do when you discover that you have an inner critic, and just realizing the root cause, because it doesn't just pop up. It's not just something that's random. It's something that is either based on some experiences in the past, and you need to figure out its root causes in order to have some control over this inner critic. Because the way in which someone, this is like probably not a good analogy, but the way in which someone literally becomes emotionally intelligent is if they're able to at least control and manage their own emotions. So we're trying to do the same with our inner critic, because the thing is, if your inner critic literally overcomes you and controls you, you're going to be the victim of your own inner critic, something that doesn't even have that immense amount of power. But if you give it your power, it's literally over for you. So that's what we're trying to stop. We don't want things to consume us, because the second things become greater than us and they consume us, it's almost like we're done for. And we don't want that here. We do not want that. The first chapter, recognizing or identifying the root causes. One very typical example, it can stem from your childhood in a sense, where it can come from having parents that are overly critical, having critical parents in general. I think that's a major contributing factor. If you grew up in a household where you've had parents that constantly critique every little thing that you do, your work, your decisions, your choices, your appearance, it can take a toll on you. And you think that maybe something that's from childhood. Since you're a child, it may not have such a big impact or whatever the case is, but you don't actually know the impact that it actually has on you up until after you grow up, because those unhealed parts of yourself are going to show up in your future relationships, and you're going to be like, you're going to get the biggest shock of your life, and you're going to ask yourself, why are you acting the way that you're acting? And it's going to be because of your childhood experiences. So never overlook your childhood experiences. Number two, your inner critic can come from, or it can be triggered by, comparison, which is literally the thief of joy. Comparison for me is utterly useless. I think personally, I don't think I've ever like struggled. Obviously, there have been moments in my life where I have compared myself to other people or whatever, because I just felt like I wasn't doing enough. And that's the thing. because now when you're comparing yourself, you don't feel like you're doing good enough, and you feel like you could be doing 10 times better when you're doing what you are only capable of. You are literally doing your best, but for some reason, because now you're comparing yourself, now it's like you feel like you're not doing good enough, and that's shouldn't be the case for you. When you compare yourself, you need to actually realize what that does to you. Just stop comparing, because there's no use in comparing yourself to other people. I mean, other people are meant to have what they have in their lives and have their life go a certain way because it's their lives and it's them. And the same with you. There's this sense of we're the same age, but we're in two different like areas of our lives and whatever, and these are my peers, and but they doing this and I'm not doing this. Oh, da 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 da. Like, there's no use in doing that, because God has something way bigger for you. Number 3, it is perfectionism. Honestly, it's a given. If you're overly critical of yourself, there's a high chance that you are a perfectionist, and it literally comes with it. It's a given. It comes with it. So it's not like something that is out of the ordinary. If you are a perfectionist, you're probably very critical of yourself. Number 4, do you know how, okay, no, you know what, sometimes we don't even realize that we're the cause of our own misery, because literally our inner critic can gain so much power literally just because of us. When you engage in negative self-talk and you expect to not have this inner critic that's living inside of you, girl, bye. Please, let's be for real. If you are engaging in negative self-talk, how are you ever going to feel good? How are you ever going to feel good about your craft if you're the one that's downplaying its significance? That doesn't even make any sense. And that will awaken the critic within you, because it's like, okay, that's an opportunity for me to literally drag you down and just finish you, because you're giving me that opportunity. Whereas if you hadn't engaged in negative self-talk in the beginning, you wouldn't be dealing with any of these things. And that's why I say that we're the cause of our own misery, because we create these things for ourselves and then wonder why certain things happen to us, when it's like we're the ones actually creating it for ourselves and we don't even know it. How sad is that? Number 5, you take what other people say personally. I want you to realize this. I want you to realize that most of the time, whatever is coming from somebody's mouth is not factual. It is not factual. It is not factual. It is not factual. I want you to repeat that to yourself, because this is what I do. Honestly, if someone gives me their opinion when I didn't ask, I will literally be like, it's not factual. It's not factual. It's not factual. Because why should you beat yourself up over because of what other people said? That doesn't even make any sense. So don't ever do that to yourself. Don't ever take what other people say to heart. Like, don't do that, because it's never gonna get you anywhere. It's not good for you, and it's just the worst thing. So now the strategy is in order to overcome that inner critic of yours, so that it can stop living inside of you, and for you to finally have some power and control over it instead of vice versa. First, you need to identify the trigger. What triggers this inner critic of yours? What emotions are you displaying at a certain time, or whatever that trigger your inner critic? What situations are you put in, or do you find yourself in, that trigger your inner critic? Like, just really look within it. Number 2, you need to realize that along the lines, even I don't know when, we were just brainwashed. When we were kids, when we knew kind of like little to none like about the world and everything, we were fine. Like, there was no comparison, there was no perfectionism, there was none of that. But then along the lines, we just found ourselves just all of a sudden we're exposed to all of these things, and we have all of these different opinions, and we suddenly care about what other people think. We're paying too much attention to things that shouldn't even matter. And now that you've understood, like, your brain is wired in a certain way, you need to now rewire your brain. You need to let go of everything that requires you to be this perfect person, to be a perfectionist, and get rid of that. Let go of that. Because when you understand why your brain acts the way that it acts, and you see the emotional toll that it has on you, you're going to want better for yourself. You're actually going to want to stand up and be like, I don't want this anymore. I don't want to feel this way on a daily basis anymore. And you're going to want to do better, and you're going to do better. So let go of all of those beliefs that you need to be a certain way based on what society says that you need to be. Let go of it all, because at the end of the day, we're gonna die alone. We came here alone, and we're gonna die alone. So whatever society has to say, it has nothing on you. Like, it should have nothing on you. Number 4, you need to start focusing on what you're not good at, because where is that gonna get you? Literally, where is that gonna get you? It's not gonna help you. It's not going to benefit you. In fact, it's just going to make things worse. Honestly, I think sometimes with the way that we treat ourselves and the things that we do, I think we need to put ourselves in a position where if we saw somebody else that we care and love about acting in the same way that we did with our inner critic, we wouldn't like that, and we would try our best to get that person out of that situation. And everything that you would want to do for that person, do it for yourself, because you can get yourself out of this position, and you can even build up your own support system and ask for other people to ask you for help. I think a lot of people forget that they themselves, if they are stuck in a situation, they can ask people for help. You're not meant to just solely figure things out on your own. You need the help of other people. Stop being proud. Stop it. And honestly, just stop being your own biggest hater. Stop that, because you will turn yourself into your biggest enemy, because it can literally be such a small thing, like such a minuscule thing that has no significance whatsoever, but the more you feed it, the more that you entertain it and give it power, the more that it's gonna lead to a thing of like you becoming your biggest hater and becoming someone that literally hates themselves and literally doesn't find themselves worthy of anything. And that's where the disrespect comes in, the low self-esteem comes in, the low sense of self-worth and everything. And that's where you're gonna be stuck in a cycle where you don't want to be, trust me. And also maybe practice like a few anti-affirmations. I'm going to put them on the screen right now, and it's not to say, these are not things to say to bring you down. I mean, that's not literally the purpose of the video is the literal opposite of what you may think anti-affirmations are, but they literally, it's something like, okay, you're acknowledged that, okay, maybe I'm not gifted in this specific field, but I'm okay with that. It's like knowing, it's like being aware, but then you're okay with that, because life doesn't end. And I think I love anti-affirmations, and I'm just gonna list down a few, and hopefully that will help. And also just write down all of the things that you're hard on yourself for and let them go, because you have to realize that you're hurting yourself, you're hurting your inner child, and this is treatment that you do not deserve. It's not something that you should tolerate, you should accept. You should even protect yourself from you. If that's what it takes to be in a better place in your life, to protect yourself from yourself, then so be it, because that's sort of like the case, this whole concept within itself. And lastly, I want to leave you guys with a gentle reminder, and that is, you are not your thoughts, and you can choose to let them go.